Uh. Huh? Feel like this audio's off. Let me... Like, it sounds really low quality. I'm gonna make some annoying noises here real quick. Hello, Valor and Minty. Apologies you have to be here for this, but I can't really preview my audio that well. Not live. I'm gonna unplug it and plug it back in. Alright, well that didn't work. Let's see about just re-plugging this. Oh shit. My fucking earphones unplugged it. Alright. It would be a shame if this is the last sounds of my mic. Yeah, it sounds muffled. I can't figure out why it sounds muffled. Actually, maybe it's a lot simpler than I thought. Well, the levels were close to 100. I wonder what that is, because it's on the right device. I'm going to try switching it to another device, and then... Oh, I know what it is. Alright. It should be fine now. Fuck me. Alright. Now that I've fucking alienated some audience members... Jesus. Well, if I weren't already tired... Anyway, I had two inputs from the same input. Audio editing fail. Elite gamer moves. So, there we have it. Live right now, weekly discussion stream. And then I'm going to twelt that. I'm going to share it to several people. And then after I share that, I will be able to answer questions. I have to remember that, though. If I ever want to sound like I'm talking into a fucking sock, I can turn on those settings. Or if I just... I can sound like an old-timey radio. like I'm blaring through like almost blown speakers, and like turn on those settings and just like talk really fucking loud into the mic. It'll sound like, actually, it would sound more like, how an Xbox mic, like a gamer mic sounds, where it's like right in front of the fucking guy's mouth, and you could just like, because of the way that he's breathing from both his nose and mouth directly into it, you can just sort of tell that he's wearing sweatpants. That's what I could simulate with that. Not me, though. I wear Wrangler Athletic Fit jeans. Not sponsored. Motherfucker. And then sending this to him. That. And then one chucked into my server. Here. And then bizj. Alright. So, Valor says, I'm wearing headphones and I can hear mini booms. Fuck, that was so loud I almost dropped my soda. Minty says, my ears. Yeah. Minty says, Jeremiah, did you see that video of Reuters interviewing a Nazi soldier codenamed Adolf from the conveniently named Spartan Storm SS Brigade? Yes, I did. I briefly considered tweeting about that, but I didn't see enough Nazi symbolism on this brigade yet. I saw one Ukrainian Nazi flag, the red and black version. It's like related to right sector and shit. So I saw that. But until there's more than a guy named Adolf and the SS and Storm like symbology, this would only be really usable as part of a broader point. So I didn't make a like dedicated tweet to it. But there will be that if there's sufficient attached. Jack says he shared this to his page on Fabur, so thank you. Valor says his friend won't stop spamming NSFW content. Tell your friend that, like, porn won't get him laid. There's no reason to spam porn at people if you're not just an attention-seeking little, like, why? What happened to UV? He's still muted, yeah, because my server isn't going to be a hub for antagonism to anarchists. And it's also not going to be a hub for antagonism to anarchists by a guy who, like, 1 week said he wanted to be a cop, and then the next week said he wanted to be a troop. Not gonna fucking happen. Jack says porn is intentionally degenerative. Yeah, well, and if somebody, like, see, to me, if all somebody does is jack off in their own privacy, then whatever. But, like, if you feel the need to send it to people, it's a pretty desperate way to get attention. Like, it's pretty, like, low-hanging fruit, sort of, like, attention desperation. Minty says, IDC if people watch porn. What I hate is when Twitter nerds make it their entire personality. Yeah. So what happened was UV began telling everybody that he, wanted to become a cop. And that, not all cops are bad, that sort of thing. He took very strong offense to the Pig News channel, which is used to talk about police corruption. And, if people were just posting, like, Officer Daughtry down the street helped little old Miss Grandma Gertrude cross it, then, that might make sense to be like, hey, like, why are we talking about this? Does helping Gertrude cross the street, qualify him as a pig? And the answer is probably, like, that wouldn't. Being a pig does, but that's a separate subject. But, like, that's not what it's being used for. It's being used so that people can share news about, like, police corruption. And those motherfucking corrupt cops are pigs. I don't care. And he also said that politics shouldn't be discussed in the main channel. He also said that he was then going to become a troop. Like, I'm not going to have my my server turned into a hub for attacking anarchists. It's not going to be his personal punching bag where he can be like, come in here, insult anarchists or conspiracy theorists or whatever, and then walk away. It's not going to become that. It's never going to become that. And if he wants it to become that, then, he's going to have to find another place to be. But that's the thing. He doesn't create his own places. He goes to other people's places. He acts this way. And then when they don't like him, he acts this way. Fucking asinine. And there's a bunch of stuff in private that I'm not going to talk about. Because I don't think it's the public's business. And I think if it was, he would have said it on Twitter. But, like, all of it means that I'm not going to allow him to speak in my server. It's not going to happen. If he wants to join the controllers, he can be controlled. Plain and simple. Jack says, are you telling me to stop sending dick pics to random accounts for fun? I am not a crook. Yeah, well, you can if you want. It's certainly not how I spend my time, though. My dick is safe for my missus, and my waifu. I'm in live chat mode already, Valor. Minty says, UV complaining about political discussions in the political Discord, LMAO. Yeah. Valor says, I've thought about being a cop, but then I realized the corruption, and yeah, fuck no. Yeah, and you have to be corrupt. That's the thing about policing. There is no way to be a good cop. No way. It doesn't work. You join the cops, you agree to be enforcers of civil corruption. That's what the cops are. I need my water, though. My fucking protein pancake dry as fuck. If I can find it. If I can't, I'll just have to stick with this. Whatever. It doesn't matter. I'll stick with this water for now. Minty says, don't forget the number of pedos in the police business. 100%. 100 fucking percent. Like, because they have the power. And they have the power monopoly. They can be like, to the kid that they abuse, they can just be like, yeah, what are you going to do? Call the cops? It's sort of like, like the 40% statistics where like 40% of cops beat their wife. Oh, Jack says it's a meme of Richard Nixon. I knew that. Oh, you were saying, okay. You were saying you were sending dick pics, as in tricky dick pics. Okay. I thought that was just you saying I am not a crook. Okay. All right. Yeah, that's amusing. All right. I get it now. But yeah, it's like the 40% statistics where 40% of cops beat their wives. There's some sort of domestic violence thing. 40% of them do that. And then, like, they don't get reported because, guess what? Guess fucking what? They don't get reported because the cops would know who the woman is. The cops would know who this woman was, and they would know that this woman was able to, be found at her address, that all the evidence could be suppressed, that all this stuff. And the cop gets away with it. So, Yeah, no thanks. I'm not going to join that gang. And it's not even just one gang anymore. The police are multiple gangs. It's like they're full-on deputy gangs and gangs that run down the line of policing. And these police gangs, they are directly affiliated with a ton of other gangs. But they're also directly just their own gangs with their own patches, gang signs, all this stuff. And there are some motherfuckers out there who still think police aren't corrupt. Valor says he was on a call with his friend playing Roblox, and his laptop was extremely close to exploding. How do you know that it was close to exploding? That's what I would be curious about. Minchie says, I thought it was a Bill Clinton meme. No, Bill Clinton is not... I'm not a crook. What Bill Clinton is... I did not have sexual relations with that woman. Jack says, society's been under hypnosis for quite some time. The world we live in is built of cards and it's getting windy. Hopefully, I think the cards are getting stronger than ever with AI, Jack. I think AI is one of the final pieces in the elite's puzzle. Oh, did you like my Bill Clinton impression? I can do the voice relatively close. I can do Bill Clinton relatively close. Temperature. Laptops explode. $60°C. I don't know what that is in American, so 60°C. 105 degrees. So 60°C is 140. So it probably wasn't very close to exploding. It was probably just uncomfortably hot and might have damaged the parts if it had gotten hotter. Yeah, like the AI thing, Jack. Have you ever read The Running Man? Let me know. I'm going to do comprehensive reviews of The Running Man at some point because Stephen King motherfucking nailed it, and I'm extremely angry at the way the movie came out. Extremely angry at the way the movie came out. I went on a tirade about it on Twitter the other day, too, because some motherfucker put The Running Man movie as even a good Stephen King movie. Other than writer... So, how do we stop Skynet? Radical support of those who oppose it. Radical opposition to it. I don't use these, Chat GPTs, the Dollies, the Mid Journeys. I don't use any of those wherever I can absolutely avoid it. I don't use it because I don't want to contribute to, our future enslavement and the slow death of truth for fun. That doesn't appeal to me in the slightest. And also it's shit. It's fucking shit. Okay, so there's multiple aspects here. It trains on existing art models, which are better than the results it produces. You could just hire these people instead of slowly coaxing an AI to maybe give you a result close enough to what you want. Instead, people are actively helping train the AI, which is going to replace people. GPT. Oh yeah, we won't use a search engine. We'll ask Chat GPT what it fucking thinks. oh, it was wrong. There are active ways to disprove, like, a whole lot of stuff it says. Man, shucks, oh golly gee, it's almost like they're having us test it and perfect it until it doesn't. It's almost like we give it more and more human input data, just like the World Economic Forum said, and it will eventually get to its stage of perfection. And then, because of the controls put on it, because the elites can, like, reel it in and control it, because of those controls put on it, it's going to be able to, like, serve their bidding and only their bidding. And it's going to be disabled from serving anything else. Minty says, sick of people laughing about how AI can do funny impressions of voices, but don't look at the bigger picture, how it can be used for manipulation, such as the government discrediting its enemies. Yeah, and Jack says he hasn't read The Running Man. I hope you do. Like, if you could make that your homework this week, you will be horrified, because, holy shit, it helped me in high school. So much it helped me in high school walk away from fascism. Because it knew what was coming. It knew that the state was going to be able to, like, completely alter what somebody says, completely frame them, completely put them in a different location, doing something different, doing whatever the state wants, puppeteer them. It completely predicted that. And people do not understand that. They don't get it because they think The Running Man is just that Arnold Schwarzenegger movie where he goes and does the arena combat. No, it's not. It's fucking not. It's not. It's not that. What it is it's a story, not of a military veteran who said, no, I won't follow your orders. It was about a family man trying to provide for his wife and kid because his wife was turning tricks in order to like, get money for medication for their baby's pneumonia, and the baby is dying slowly. That is a tragic story. That is a sympathetic story. And I'm not just saying that because the town it's set in is, the city it's set in is Harding, Illinois, a fictional Illinois city. I'm not just saying that because of that. What I am saying is that it's better to frame it that way because it's the everyman. Not every man is Arnold Schwarzenegger. And the whole point of The Running Man is that it could happen to fucking you. So, yeah, it's not good at all. Valor, your school library doesn't need to have it. You can get it on EPUB for free online. If you're interested, I'll grab you a copy later. But, yeah, Jack says, I don't use any of them for the same reason, but those who think differently have more funding than us. Anfo is cheap. Minty says, Hollywood on their way to turn tragic stories into shitty movies. And it fucking sucked. It wasn't good. That's the worst part of it. Like, it wasn't even fun. It wasn't good. It was just your stock and standard Schwarzenegger movie. Fuck. But if you do that, Jack, you will find out. You will find out. Because it talks very specifically about the issue that I talk about. And I'm not going to say too much because I don't want to give spoilers. I don't want to give any more spoilers on this than I already have because people should experience it and experience the horror of realizing what's happening in real time. Like, it's on my bucket list to write an actual good screenplay for this fucking thing. It's on my bucket list. Alright. So, I'm not going to drop a pirate link in YouTube, but I will send you a link Message me on Facebook, like just a period, so that the chat pops up. Actually, I'll send it to both Valor and you now. Because I might as well. And while I do that, y'all can think of other subjects to bring up that I can talk about. I'm eating protein pancakes. Now over here, I got fucking lentils and, what are these? Harvest Grains blend from Trader Joe's and potatoes and cheese. Huh. Well, it's not available on the site right here. Let me check. Just that? That's weird. That's weird. Did somebody file a fucking DMCA on this? Well, it has everything but that right now. Let me, I will send the file once I find a copy. Because I can't find a copy on the normal place I look. Minty says, I just found out China brokered a peace deal between Iran and Saudi Arabia. Let me look into this. Would not be surprised. Oh, so you were talking about the one on March 10th. Yeah, I heard about that. I thought you were talking about something new. Yeah, and that's also part of the reason that oil, the first ever like oil was sold in Chinese yuan relatively recently. So, that's what that is. To hell? I'm not sure what you meant, Jack. Let me know. Well, I'll get the book at some point soon, and I'll get y'all a link. Because it should be available on one of the things. Welcome to Hell, probably? Oh. Do you mean the email newsletter? One moment. Alright, one moment. I'll send it here again and we'll see if it works now, but it should work. I don't know why it wouldn't. Yeah, it's up. And I have people who've signed up successfully using the email newsletter there. So, I don't know why it wouldn't work. But, yeah, it seems fine to me. If it still doesn't work, let me know. But I'll be sending out the first of many emails tomorrow. Okay, cool. Oh, and for the adults in the chat, I'll also, because I might as well, I'll post this stuff. If you decide you want to throw me $5 a month, it would help me make a significant amount more content. So I'm going to throw these even though there has been slim content this week. If everyone who was subscribed to this channel was giving me $5 a month, I would have enough to do significant amount more than I already do. But yeah, to answer your question, Minty, the Branch Davidians were a doomsday cult. Like, I think they were, like, if I remember correctly, they were, like, a spin-off of Seventh-day Adventists. And it was, like, also Davidians, specifically. But they were Branch Davidians, like a branch off of them. They were, like, vegetarian, and they, like, had a bunch of they had a bunch of very specific practices that they thought they needed to do in order to, you know, be pure enough. It was definitely a weird belief system, but to me, a weirder belief system is that it's okay to burn a bunch of children alive and then pose for camera shots on their fucking corpses as they burn. So it's like nearly no matter how like weird their beliefs were, what happened to them was completely unjustified. Like, there's no way to justify that sort of thing. I'm saying nearly only because somebody might like be able to Goldilocks me into a corner, but it's fucked what happened to them. It's pure, plain and simply fucked. Yeah, Minty, they the rubble. There were children in the like burned children in the rubble, and they knew they just burned children alive because that was part of their excuse for the raid. And so they were trying to excuse the raid because, oh, we have to go save those children. And then they posed for pictures on the rubble of Waco. I'm actually curious about this, Valor. Valor says, I remember looking up what the most painful way to die is and getting a suicide hotline. I'm going to look this up right now. Ah, it gave me the hotline. Very interesting. Well, the ATF needed that, but the FBI also needed that. Like, both agencies were responsible, just to be clear. Minty says, reminds me of the excuse they used to invade Grenada by saving medical students. Yeah, or the fact that they literally kidnapped a bunch of Vietnamese kids so that they could justify the Vietnam invasion because they were, like, at least not hurting the kids. Parental alienation fucking hurts kids. You know? Growing up without a father because he was Agent Oranged to death fucking hurts kids. Yeah, that's one of the things I'm going to be making relatively soon. Because it's not the only instance where the state or its allies have burned down, like, places with kids. You know? It's, like, really super common for the U.S. government to do that. And I want to bring up, like, the top 10 instances where the U.S. burned kids alive. I think that'd be a funny title. Minty says, I still have an alt on Twitter that I use to occasionally browse what's going on. Ah. But yeah, fucking... There's gonna be lots of hate with Harding coming up. There's gonna be a lot of, like, specifically content there. Because I want content there to be, like, my primary outlet. And I want it to be very thorough and extremely well informed. The name sounds familiar, but I can't remember who Terrence Yeeki is. So let me look this up. Oh, okay. I get what you're saying. Yeah. Yeah. That's a good one. Possibly. I would not be surprised. Minty says, cults definitely have very weird and jarring beliefs and practices, but that's no excuse to kill literal children. Yeah, and you have to, like, I feel like the U.S. government has to be a worse cult if it's the one who actually killed the children. You know, it's like, these kids might be at risk, so we need to do the raid, fucking last like a month, and then eventually, darn it, we couldn't save the kids. They burned. We'll blame them for lighting the fire, though. Valor says, when I was younger, I used to want to work for the FBI because I thought it'd be cool. But then as I got older, I went, oh no, wonder what my family... Or no wonder my family acted so weird when I said that. Yeah, I wanted to be an FBI agent too at one point because I liked the X-Files. And I thought that looks like it'd be cool. But there are no, like, X-Files of a similar sort. There are no FBI agents going around and being cool and actually looking for it. It's just more propaganda. Minty says the government has a cult practice of showering in the blood of children and brown people. Yeah. I just dropped a fucking beard hair in my fucking shit. There we go. Handled. Yeah, I'm going to do a video on times the U.S. government burned children alive. And that's what I'm going to anchor my Waco in. Because so many other people have just made Waco content. And I don't want to just be like, yet another Waco documentary. I want this to be like a consistent pattern. And I want to like list the things that led up to it. Jack says, I wanted to be an attorney. I liked arguing. 180 since I was a kid, but I still like arguing. Jeremiah entering his chills era. I don't know what that means. Valor says, Jeremiah, I have a notebook that has mostly empty pages. What should I write in it? If you have a notebook, I would suggest using it to journal. I think that would be interesting. I will have to read that after I'm done here. Chills the horror YouTuber. Oh, I think I know what Minty is referencing. I did not mean to say he, by the way. I'm like reading Valor at the same time. I think I know what Minty was referencing. She was referencing the guys like number 15 Waco Massacre. Yeah, okay, yeah. Yeah, I don't know the guy who did it. So Ludlow Massacre. Maybe look into this. This is interesting. This is very interesting. I was not familiar with this at all. Opening the wiki for it. Seminal event of the 1913-14 Colorado Coalfield War, which began a general United Mine Workers of America strike against poor labor conditions in CF&I's southern Colorado coal mines. The strike was organized by miners working for Rocky Mountain Fuel Company and Victor American Fuel Company. Ludlow was the deadliest single incident during the Colorado Coalfield War and spurred a 10-day period of heightened violence throughout Colorado. Okay, so background. Areas of the Rockies have veins of coal close to the surface, providing... At its peak, the coal mining industry of Colorado employed 864 people, 10% of the jobs in the state. Those numbers seem so quaint. There's more people than that in Spokane. Colorado's coal industry was dominated by a handful of operators. Colorado Fuel and Iron was the largest coal operator in the West and one of the nation's most powerful corporations, at one point employing 50 people and controlling 71,837 acres of coal land. John D. Why am I not surprised that the motherfucking Rockefellers are involved? Okay, I see where this is going. So, the workers wanted safety. They lived in company towns, so they were beholden to the bitch-ass little motherfuckers trying to control their shit. Frustrated, they turned to unions. Beginning in 1900, the United Mine Workers of America began organizing coal miners in the western states, including southern Colorado. The union decided to focus on, strike. They wanted recognition of the union as a bargaining agent, compensation for digging coal at a ton rate based on 2,000 pounds. Previous ton rates were of long time. They weren't even respecting real tons? Or had they not been, properly codified? A ton is 2,000 pounds. Is that not always what a ton was? What the fuck is a 2,200 pound ton? Shit. Okay. So just be real with us, motherfucker. That's plank 2. Enforcement of the 8-hour workday law. Okay. Payment for dead work, laying track, timbering. They weren't paying people to fucking make the thing possible? God damn you, motherfucking Rockefeller. Holy goddamn shit, motherfucker. They weren't paying people to lay track, timber, or handle impurities? What? That's part of the goddamn job. God, I hate these people. Weight checkmen elected by the workers to keep company weight men honest. That seems fucking reasonable. Right to use any store and to choose their boarding houses and doctors. You had to fucking use... You will not get to pick your doctor. Woo! Oh, this sucks. I am so pro-union here. Holy shit. Strict enforcement of Colorado's laws, such as mine safety rules and abolition of scrip, and an end to company guard system. The major coal companies rejected the demands. Fucking... Yeah, of course they would. They're corrupt bitches with money on their mind. Baldwin Felts had a reputation for aggressive strike-breaking. Agents shone searchlights on the tent villages at night and fired bullets into the tents at random, occasionally killing and maiming people. They used an improvised armored car. That's goofy as fuck looking. Holy shit. This looks like something out of a Benny Hill? Hin? I don't fucking remember right now, but Charlie Chaplin ass fucking... Wow. Holy shit. As strike-related violence mounted, Colorado Governor Elias M. Ammons called in the Colorado National Guard on October 28th. At first, the Guard's appearance calmed the situation, but the Guard's leader's sympathies lay with... I wonder why the Guard leader's sympathies lay with company management. Could it be fucking money? Like, John Chase. Imagine naming the guy who's going to help scabs and break your strike Chase. John Chase. John Chase is on the case. Holy shit. On March 10th, 1914, a replacement worker's body was found on the... Okay. The Chase ordered the Forbes tent colony destroyed. Oh, I see where this is going. The National Guard had largely broken the strike by... Witness the attack, and his images of the destruction often appear. Massacre! The day after some of the tent colony celebrated Orthodox Easter, 3 guardsmen appeared at the camp ordering the release of a man they claimed was being held against his will. The camp leader, Louis Ticas, left to meet with Major Patrick J. Hamrock at the train station in Ludlow Village. Half-mile blah blah. The fighting raged for an entire day. The militia was reinforced by non-uniformed mine guards later in the afternoon. At dusk, the freight train stopped on the tracks in front of the guards' machine gun placements, allowing many of the miners and their families to escape to an outcrop of the hills. During the battle, 4 women and 11 children hid in a pit beneath one tent, where they were trapped when the tent above them was set on fire. Man. So they got trapped in a pit and, like, suffocated and burned. That's fucked. Okay. I'll have to do a video on that at some point. Live reaction to a massacre. The anniversary was this week. Motherfuckers! Of course the anniversary is this week. It's like right proximal to Waco. We've got to have another incident where fucking burnt. Burning kids. Might as well. You're the U.S. government. You don't give a fucking shit. And I should also include Hiroshima and Nagasaki as incidents where the U.S. burned kids alive. There were so many kids that they burned alive. Valor says, wait, what? I think I have to read more about the burning them in the pit. Here. Julia May Courtney reported different numbers in her contemporaneous article, Remember Ludlow, for the magazine Mother Earth. She said that in addition to men who were killed, a total of 55 women and children had died in the massacre. According to her account, the militia fired the two largest buildings, the strikers' stores, and going from tent to tent poured oil on the flimsy structures, setting fire to them. From the blazing tents rushed the women and children, only to be beaten back into the fire by rain of bullets from the militia. The men rushed to the assistance of their families, and as they did so, they were dropped as the whirring messengers of death sped surely to the mark. Into the cellars, the pits of hell under their blazing tents, crept the women and children, less fearful of the smoke and the flames than of the nameless horror of the spitting bullets. One man counted the bodies of 9 little children, taken from one ashy pit. Their tiny fingers burned away as they held to the edge in their struggle to escape. Thugs in the state uniform hacked at the lifeless forms, in some instances nearly cutting off heads and limbs to show their contempt for the strikers. 55 women and children perished in the fire of the Ludlow tent colony. Relief parties carrying the Red Cross flag were driven back by the gunmen. In 24 hours, the bodies lay crisping in the... Crisping? Don't make it sound like motherfucking meat, Julia. I'm hungry. In the ashes, while rescuers vainly tried to cross the firing line. Yep. Yeah, I'm not surprised in the slightest. Jack's like, why talk about that on 420 when you could just get stoned instead? Yeah, like fucking... Nothing More says, legalize whatever gets me high. That's perfect for it. Because it's like, the point is that, like, you're not going to legalize, you know, anything that's going to greatly increase freedom, bridge divides, help the common person. If they can get high, then they will be too numb to shit and they will shut the fuck up. I'm so glad that I've been clean and sober for 4 years now. Going on 5. Alexandra Hellig says, what's up, Jeremiah? How much? How are you? I'm just talking about mass murder, eating some cheesy ham and potatoes. So, I got chat comments to read. Me. Valor says, I need to stop eating sugar. I think my heart is upset at me. Potentially. Or, you just need to do a lot more cardio so that the sugar is useful. Like, marathon runners and marathon bikers, they will literally keep a glucose pack with them so that they can take the glucose and have the energy to continue going. It's just a little bit of sugar syrup, like glucose syrup. They just, like, in the fucking book. And then, like... they can keep going for a bit. So, it depends on what you do with the chemical. Jack says, Ludlow Massacre is another example of them burning their shit. Valor says, imagine having people live in your state and then burning your people. Lord help us, yeah. Minty, every time the American libs scream about foreign countries shooting their own citizens, show them the Kent State shootings. Yeah. Or And like, I'm including, by the way, the burning of Black Wall Street and the Philadelphia Move bombing. So many people don't know about Philadelphia Move. If people don't know about that, I'll briefly describe that as well. I'm not going to read a wiki because I know this one well enough. So I'll take a short poll here. Who here has heard of the Philadelphia Move bombing? If plenty of people say no, I will briefly describe it. Jack says, exactly, Rockefellers. So happy you decided to learn about this. The anniversary was this week. Burnt it down with kerosene. Minty says, if you read this to me without context, I would have thought this was a Charlie Chaplin film. Yeah. Valor and Jack are congratulating me on the cleanliness and sobriety. Minty says, I finally tried beer and it was fucking gross. Yeah. Well, it took me fucking forever to find a beer that I actually liked. And, like, I'm not just, like, exaggerating there. It took, like, so many fucking years of me being like, yeah, if you have a beer you like, you can give me one of those beers and I will try it and tell you whether or not I like it. So many examples of people giving me beer that I fucking didn't. You know? No. Blue Moon was the first and only one that I pretty much liked. Well, actually, that's not true. There was this pumpkin ale that I got at, like, a dollar store once. That was also reasonable. But, like, beer sucks. Bud Light, if you drink Bud Light at all, you have no business talking to anybody else about poisoning your body with hormones, because literally alcohol is a testosterone antagonist. You are closer to being trans than you would be otherwise if you fucking drink regularly. Valor says he wants to drink a little but not excessively. Up to you. Alright. Helig says marathon runners can't keep deep breaths. Their lungs change. They can only do shallow breathing, which could be bad if swimming. It's best to be sprinting most things in life. It would be more favorable. I do burst running. Because it's the most scientifically backed way to keep, like, good cardio and muscle form. So I do burst running. I'll run for a burst, like to the end of a song, and then I'll power walk for a bit until my heart rate drops, and then I'll bring back up my heart rate, and then I'll drop the heart rate, and I'll bring it back up, and and it also gives me a chance to go to different parts of the cities and really drink the city and really drink in parts of Spokane, because holy fucking shit, dude. Holy fucking shit, this place is fucking... There's so many places that you can go here that just seem unreal. That seem like a part that you would only be able to access because a video game person, like, developer put it here. But no, it's real, maybe. Unless this is a simulation. Which I can't concretely prove it's not. But, like, it's fucking unreal. Like, I can find little eroded bits of hill, and there's, like, a cement piece going across it, and I can just balance across that cement piece to get where I'm going. Instead of, like, you know, finding an alternate way around, you know, some deep canyon or whatever, I can just, like, find a tree that, like, arcs across it, and I can just, like, hang. It's real life gaming, yo. And the graphics are great, and it has smell-o-vision. Anyway. Jack says, I quit drinking 3 years ago. I was drinking a fifth of tequila a night. At the end, I was an absolute mess. Tequila's supposed to taste like ass, too. Jack says, I chose to quit. No groups, no therapy. I finally decided I had enough. Yeah, and the worst part is they call you a dry drunk if you do that. But I was never an alcoholic. I never, like... It was never to a point where, like, I needed it on a nightly basis and I would feel dependent on it. You know, I quit because I moved to a better place and I didn't feel like I needed it to be like entertained anymore, to make the place less miserable, because it's not miserable here. So it's like Rat Park, you know, they found that the addiction basically stopped as soon as they gave them better things to do, more rats to fuck, like a generally healthier diet, and then they stopped needing the cocaine because they didn't feel miserable and they didn't feel like they needed this like shortcut to get them where they needed to go. And that's how it is in real life too. Valor says, would Spokane be good to live in? I might consider living there. I recommend it, you know? And we're also trying to start something up here. So if you decide you want a place to move and you're willing to get a day job and contribute to rent, we're going to get something going here. The plan is to start it near the end of the year. I need as many donations as possible before then to make it happen. But if it does, then, you know, we'll have something going here. It's going to be pretty cool. Minty says, this may sound a little NSFW, but does anyone know how to effectively control porn addiction? There are times... Yeah, well, so... The thing is, like, part of the thing to realize is that it's not a matter of controlling the addiction. It's a matter of replacing it with something better. So, like, I'm going to ask you a very pointed question. How often do you work out? Let me know that. I'll finish this afterward. Jack says, Valor, don't start drinking ever, not socially, not here and there, never, stay pure. Huh. Good advice. I'm going to shove more of this into my fuckhole real quick. Well. Minty answers the question. And for anyone who wants to work out, I have a Discord server where you can get a role that will remind you to stay fit. And every time you're working out, you use that role to remind everybody else with that role to stay fit. That's what I want for this server. I want it to be a healthy place where we can all fucking improve. And E, because I know you're listening to this stream in the background, you can always feel free to get the Swole Alert role as well. Everyone can, and they will do much better. But, like, okay, so I think Minty might have left or something. My recommendation, I'm assuming that the workout doesn't... Oh, Minty says here, I've been planning to work out, but haven't because of a lot of personal life shit that comes up. Okay, so here's the thing. And I know there are minors listening, but this is important, so I'm just going to be blunt with you. Porn, you search for porn, you find porn that you like, you jack off, you clean up, right? That's the steps of porn. All of that is time. And usually it's about, like, it's a while. Especially if you say you have an addiction, it's a lot of time out of the day. And it, like, kills motivation for other things eventually. If you didn't do that and started to work out when you felt the urge to jack off, you would probably do a lot better. Because it's the same hormones responsible for both. So, if you kept it, like, controlled like that, not only would you still have the hormone release, but you would gradually produce more of those hormones because your body would get used to cycling those hormones for a different purpose than porn and jacking off. That's what I would recommend. I would recommend, like, using working out as a different thing than, like, porn for the same hormonal purposes. Jack says, drink water, pick up rock, chase squirrels, repeat, but pick up bigger rock and chase bigger and faster animals on land and in water. Base principles. Although I don't do that. I have one of these. So this is my main, like, workhorse for working out. Keeps me in shape. You attach this to the top of a door. I have a cup attached to the bottom of it, apparently. You attach this to the top of a door. And when you hang off of this, you can pull, or you can hang forward off of it and push off of these handles at the end. And I don't recommend other people do this because I don't know long term how good it's going to be for the device, and I don't want to have a device malfunction on my head. But I use a resistance trainer hooked into the same holes so that I can use the resistance trainer like a Bowflex. So it's a door Bowflex. I also do that while on a set of concrete steps, which let me do a lot of body weight training, dips, push-ups of a variety of sort, calf raises, like box squats, and like one leg, like lunge squat kind of things onto a surface, sort of vaults. I also have at my disposal ab roller. I have fucking, I gotta pull it out of the cardboard box I store it in right now. 10-pound a piece ankle weights. I have fucking this, which is a pull-up bar that instead I use to train Eskrima. So, like, if you've ever seen, like, actually a good example that people probably know is like Nightwing from Titans, right? He uses 2 sticks, and what it's called is Kali Eskrima. And what it is it's a 2-stick and knife Filipino martial art. Additionally, I have this last thing, which my biggest supporter sent me. This is a Gata mace. You can use this in a variety of ways, and the leverage, swinging something heavy at the end of a stick, that leverage, right, that builds up. This is a Joe Rogan brand on it fucking Gata mace, and you can use the Gata mace in a variety of ways. Oh, also, this is a new addition that a friend sent me. This is a gripping workout set where you can use a variety of different ways to train different parts of your grip. And I'm going to be getting my forearms and hands swole with this. So you've got this thing for training individual fingers. So like that, or like this, or like you can just take 2 of them and just work fingers against each other. You know, like if I wanted to get my pinky really strong, I could like hold it right here and just like really stretch it all the way out. But like the point is that this is for like this motion, right? And you can also just sort of like there are so many ways to use this. You got like, you know, that there's ways, but like I do this grip set at my desk. There's this for training individual fingers on this motion and from this position as well. So like you can either train individual fingers, like when I get to a stage, because I'm not there yet, but I'll be able to do like 50 reps with just my pinky here. So that, a rubber ring that you do the same thing with. And you can also train individual fingers with that. Same with this squishy ball, which is designed for working out. So it's more than just a stress ball in terms of physical strength. And then the piece de resistance of this kit is a 65 kilogram grip strengthener. This thing will fuck you up. So I do all of this. And I'm not an Amazon affiliate, but that's where I got it. I need to get back affiliated with the program, but not enough people bought stuff using my links last time, so they, like, canceled my account, and it's the second time it's happened. So, you know, at some point I'll get reaffiliated, but I'm going to need more numbers than I currently have, so I got to earn it by making content. It's, like, really high quality. And then people will want to support me by doing stuff. But yeah, my little grip strengthening kit as well. So I don't do rocks, I don't do all that other stuff, but it's the same basic principle. Jack says jerking, not jacking. That offends me. I appropriated his jack culture. Valor says, hi, Eek. If you're here, you're epic. Agreed. Valor says, I hope you can get out of addictions, Minty. I've been a victim to certain addiction for a few years now. Won't say because it's graphic and depressing and it's hell. I recommend downloading an app called I Am Sober. It's a good app to keep track of addiction and find support from communities of people with the same addiction. It helped me with a lot. I've been sober for 10 days now. I relapsed after 3 months. Well, that's good. I hope you stay on that track. Valor says, I want to do knife-to-knife combat so bad. I've seen videos of the Korean military doing knife combat. I used to have a stress ball, but my dog ripped it up. Well, that's why I keep it in the bag at all times. Like, it's protected from pretty much everything. Minju says, with the recent moves of Lula, such as moving closer to China and talks of dropping USD, expect to hear the Western media talk about how Brazil needs freedom and democracy. And it's not just that. How many people here have seen my video on how they're using fentanyl to scare you into war? Because if you haven't, I think that's a relatively good video, but it got barely any views. So if y'all want to watch that video, it's basically about like that sort of connection, but from a different angle. Because I think that they're not even doing it for that purpose. I think they're doing it primarily for another purpose. Because they need a strategic resource center now that isn't the ones that they've grown like frayed with in terms of tensions, and one that's closer so that they can justify more action. Either way, people seem to not know about Philadelphia Move, so let me get back to that. Philadelphia Move was a housing thing, like a movement, like for sort of black political representation, to put it in a way that YouTube won't censor. And they didn't like the way that these black people were behaving, the way that they would cordon off sections of streets and shit like that. But they were legit property owners. Like, they owned the fucking place. So they should be able to decide how it's used. And eventually the U.S. government comes in and tries to violently shut it all down. Gets shot back at. And after they fail to actually stop these people for a significant period of time, they eventually drop a satchel of C-fucking-4 on the roof of the goddamn apartment complex and burned it down to the ground because it had a fuel oil tank on the top for heating purposes. Tons of women and children dead. They burned it down with women and children inside, with men who just wanted to defend their families and, like, have the right to self-determination. Because they put a satchel of C4 on the roof next to a fuel oil tank and bombed the U.S. people. I'm not making it up. You can look it up. They did that because they're pieces of racist, genocidal shit. And anybody that gets in their way significantly gets fucking burned. Philadelphia will never forget that. Never. You know? And when I tell people about that, they, if they're from outside Philly, they generally don't even know about it. Because the U.S. government doesn't like to teach these things. If this was a part of social studies too, if the U.S. actually taught anything remotely close to critical race theory, this would be there. So, MOVE, originally the Christian Movement for Life, is a communal organization that advocates for nature laws and natural living, founded in 1972 in Philly by John Africa. The name, styled in all capital letters, is not an acronym. MOVE lived in a communal setting in West Philadelphia, born and raised, abiding by philosophies of anarcho-primitivism. The group combined revolutionary ideology, similar to that of the Black Panthers, with work for animal rights. MOVE is particularly known for two major conflicts with the Philly Police Department. In 1978, a standoff resulted in the death of one cop and injuries to 16 firefighters as well as members of the MOVE organization. 9 members were convicted of killing the cop, and each received prison sentences of 30 to 100 years. In 1985, another firefight ended when a police helicopter dropped 2 bombs onto the roof of the MOVE compound, a townhouse located at 6221 Osage Avenue. The resulting fire killed 6 MOVE members and 5 of their children and destroyed 65 houses in the neighborhood. The police bombing was strongly condemned. The MOVE survivors later filed a civil suit against the city of Philly and the PPD and were awarded $1.5 million in a 1996 settlement. Notice, it's a settlement. The police didn't admit they did anything fucking wrong. They never have to. They always settle. Just take this money. Take this money and go and shut the fuck up, and we won't have to fire any cops. Minty says, this is what happens when any minority defends themselves. Yeah. Valor says, hoping someone from Twitter can pop into stream. Minty says, the government comes after them to put them in line. Yep. Alexander Halig says, sounds like a cop move to blow up everything. Yep. For sure. Also, comments. I only posted 1 video this week. There aren't really enough. I will, though. This week, I have focus. Because I've got everything lined up for multiple videos. And so I have a ton of things. The first thing that's coming is going to be, like, the sort of observation on Hate with Harding. The observation of Daniel Perry's phone scrape. Because I think if people were, more apprised of everything he said, that they would be more willing to, acknowledge the problem of bigotry. Acknowledge the problem of just memes and just jokes. Because he turned into an extremely terrible person by being, like, chronically online. Jack says, I don't remember learning about MOVE in school. Internet extremists taught me. Yeah. 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 When I heard about MOVE, it was one of the really final linchpins in my all cops are bastards kind of mentality. It's like, they bombed their own people, bitches! Don't tell me that any cops are good, because cops know this shit all the time. They don't want to talk about it, motherfuckers. And then, like, lately, I forget where it was, but it was in Texas, right? Reporter leaves audio recorder in the room, and he catches on this hot mic that the officers in question didn't like his interview style. And after he left the room, they were discussing casually sending assassins after him, and also talking about the good old days when you could just hang black people. This is a real conversation, yo. So, fuck pigs. Either way, is there more y'all want to discuss? And yeah, Rainbow Farm was another, like, cop standoff. So, like, Rainbow Farm was one of those things where it had a lot of celebrity backing. Like, Tommy Chong was involved. Like, Merle Haggard. Fucking, basically, reading thing. In August 2001, Crosland and Rom failed to appear at their appointed court date and set fire to a building on their property. Crosland and Rom also began procuring assault rifles and claiming that the farm had been mined and booby-trapped. Believing they were outgunned, the local authorities called in the FBI. The Michigan State Police and FBI agents surrounded Crosland's house on August 31st. Throughout Labor Day weekend, Crosland and Rom systematically burned down the 10 structures on their farm, shot at and hit a news helicopter filming the fires, shot at and missed a police surveillance plane, and sprayed the woods bordering the 34-acre property with gunfire to keep police at bay. On September 3rd, Crosland walked into the woods on his farm, and while walking back, he spotted an FBI agent laying on the ground. Crosland raised his rifle and was shot in the forehead and died instantly. He was shot 5 times in the head and 3 times in the torso. So, there you go. Shortly after 6 a.m., a fire was reported at the Rainbow Farm residence. While walking outside the house, Rome was shot dead by another police marksman. A third man, Brandon J. Peoples, suffered minor injuries when Crosland was shot. So there you go. That's what that was. Favorite Sonic songs? I don't really do favorites. There's a lot of good ones, though. I do, like, I have a playlist of literally 6,000 plus files that I'll turn on when I want to listen to Sonic music, because it's pretty much, like, vast majority of it is good. So, either way, gonna call it relatively soon if there aren't more subjects to discuss. So let me know. This is fucking particulate. I need to add more cheese next time so it sticks together better. Fits better than chopsticks. Minty says, goddamn, there's a lot of U.S. government attacks on its own citizens. Yeah, and they wouldn't have needed to do any of that if they would just not criminalize these things. But they do, because they want money and power. Valor says, remember how I said I volunteer in a therapy group where I'm a therapist? I do. Don't say too much, though. That violates confidentiality. Yeah, the first video is going to be that phone scrape, because there's so many juicy little details in that phone scrape. And I think it would be valuable for people to know that the person that they're talking to online might just be exactly like this. Fowler says, I remember once I had a client who said they were suicidal, and at the end of the session they said they were going to commit a crime and make cops shoot them on purpose. Yeah, suicide by cop happens. It's also dumb. Suicide by cop, suicide by joining the military, suicide by a variety of just like... It's even more craven, because it's like you can't just do it yourself. And definitely don't do it, by the way. If anyone out there thought that was encouragement, it's just saying that it's an extra layer of craven to do it that way. Alright. Well, if people don't have stuff to discuss, I'm going to give you all lots to discuss over the coming week. Lots of plans. With that being said, I'm going to earn my keep. I'm going to earn y'all's support. And I'm going to do whatever I can to make content that'll make everyone out there want to smash the fucking state. Be well, all. Stay clean, stay fit, stay sober, stay anti-state.